Hello everyone, I welcome you all in this video. Today we are going to study Geography Chapter 2, Interior of the Earth. At the beginning of this lesson or chapter, some questions are asked. But let's recall yourself. In the previous classes, you have been introduced to rock types, volcanoes, and earthquakes, and here are some questions on the basis of that. Question number 1: when earthquake occurs, what happens exactly? See, answer is earthquake occurs when the stored energy becomes greater than the friction and the rock masses suddenly slip along the faults. Much of the energy stored in the stretched rock is released in seismic waves, which travel out in all directions from all the fault on which the earthquake occur. Question second is, how are igneous rocks are formed? See students, answers are not given here. You have to listen carefully, try to understand, and try to understand with your previous knowledge also. Yes, and can compare. Igneous rocks form when hot molten rock crystallizes and solidifies. Here, hot molten rock that we call magma. When the magma gets solidified, igneous rocks form, interior or the exterior. What is a volcano? Question 3. A volcano is a mountain or the hill, typically conical, having a crater or vent through which lava, rock fragments, hot vapor, and the gas are or have been erupted from the earth crust. See, question number 3 and 4. Togetherly I have told you which material come out during the volcanic eruption, that is rock fragments, lava, hot vapor, and the gas are or they have been erupted from the earth's crust. Question 5. In which state of the matter are these materials? These materials are in solid, liquid, and the gaseous state. And question 6. Are these materials cool or the hot, and why? Yes, these materials are hotter due to high temperature inside the earth and molten magma. Hope that you understood answers of these questions. Try your level best to understand or listen once again. See students, try this one activity is given. It is possible to complete this activity at home. See, boil half a liter of milk. When the milk comes to a boil, switch off the gas. Keep a lid on the vessel. See students, while doing this experiment, you have to use your observational skills. And if you have the good observation skill, then you will come to conclude in the better way. What this is the activity? See, after 10 minutes, remove the lid, take it to a side and tilt it. Observe what happens. What can you see on the milk? In what form do you see the layer of matter on the milk? Remove this layer of matter. Take note of the difference in the temperature of this matter and the milk, and answer some questions which are asked here. Question 1 is here, when the milk was kept for boiling, in which state was it? Yes, answer will be of course it was in liquid state. Question 2, when the milk was boiling, what did you observe? Yes students, scientific way we have to think here. When milk is boiled, the three components of the emulsion break apart, that is the milk proteins, then coagulate and separate from the water, producing what is commonly known as curdled milk. Curdled milk. Question 3, what had accumulated over the lid of the vessel? Yes, milk skin or the Leptoderm refers to a sticky film of a protein that forms on a top. Question 4. Tell whether the matter accumulated on the milk is liquid or solid. The matter accumulated on the milk is in a semi-solid state or solid state. Question 5. What is cooler or hotter than the milk below? It was or it will be cooler than the milk below. Milk will be hotter and the cream or the creamy layer will be the cooler one. Question 6. On which other substances can similar experiments be carried out? Yes, students, with the buttermilk to butter, such a similar experiment can be miscarried out. Other chemicals through chemical reactions in a lab is possible. Here, try to understand. This activity will help you to study the further matter. Geographical explanation through will come to know that how this activity is useful for us. Before boiling, the milk was in the liquid state. Already we have studied. After it come to a boil, steam started coming out from it. After some time, a thick layer of cream develops over the milk. The temperature of the cream is lesser than the milk below. Thus, it can be implied that the creamy layer cooled faster than the milk below it, because the creamy layer directly comes with the contact of atmospheric gases, so cools quickly compared to milk, which remain hot and in a liquid form. And a similar process occurred when the earth cooled. We have to compare this activity with the earth and earth's interior movements. The scientists believe that the earth was formed out of the solar system. Yes, like some theory or some facts already you have studied. The earth was formed out of the solar system itself. Initially, earth was a gaseous hot balloon, and it cooled down as it rotated around itself. And the process of cooling took place from the outer surface toward the earth's center. Yes, you must know that here the process of cooling took place from the outer surface toward the earth's center. Students, as a result, the outer layer that we call crust, outer layer of the earth is known as a crust of the earth becomes cooler and solid. But as we move from the surface to the core, heat increases, and at a certain depths the interior of the earth is semi-liquid, means exterior solid in a state and interior semi-liquid. Man has always been inquisitive about or the curious about what lies in the interior of the earth. A direct observation of the earth's interior has not been possible, as it what is in the inside of the earth even today is unknown to man. Through various methods, the man is curious always about the interior of the earth, and earth's interior has not been possible as yet through the observation. Through the various methods, the scientists have tried to estimate about the same and to infer about these. Study of the materials coming out of a volcanic eruption and the waves is most important. Man tried level best to find out what is the interior of the earth. Sometimes you have studied Big Bang theory also. Matter coming out of volcanic eruptions consists of hot magma, gases, steam, etc. And when lava cools and solidifies, igneous rocks are formed. See, igneous rocks are formed. Earlier one question I had asked, I have answered. Here also you will get an answer. Through the estimates of the study of temperature, density, gravitational force and pressure, 4 factors C. Once again, temperature, density, gravitational force and pressure, the interior of the earth was understood. And for instance, when we go deep into a mine, we feel an increase in temperature. Toward the center, temperature high. Toward the surface, temperature low. Similarly, the magma coming out of volcanoes from the Earth's interior is hot. And such estimations were made by the geologists. Several estimations means what temperature will be, because nobody can reach to the center of the earth due to the high temperature. Earthquakes occur in the various places on the earth every year. Seismic waves are generated. We are going to study detail afterwards. And these waves will travel through the interior of the earth in the horizontal manner, vertical manner, or the radial way. The study of their directions and the velocity help us to estimate about the interior of the earth through guessing. Just a guess we can do. Man has also tried to dig deep boreholes in the interior to know more about the same. But here also man became unsuccessful. See students, here one question, or you can think about it. Can we dig deep from one side of the earth and come out from the other side? How we can get hold to a one ball or any one round thing? The same way we'll get hold to the earth. Is it possible? Write your imagination in your notebooks and discuss in the class or discuss with your parents. Is it possible? If it is possible, then why? And if it is not possible, then why? You have to discuss. One fact is here. Do you know? Our earth was formed approximately 4.6 billion years ago. 4.6 billion years ago. Initially, the earth was in a gaseous state and it started cooling through the process of radiation, and the earth then liquefied. With time, the outermost part of the earth cooled first and became solid, that is crust, and this outermost layer of the earth is called the crust. Once again, see, the outermost layer of the earth is called the crust. Even today, outer planets of the solar system are in a gaseous state. Sometimes you have studied or somewhere you have read about this point. Outer planets of the solar system are in a gaseous state. Here, for better understanding the layers of the earth or the composition of the earth's interior, one activity is suggested. You can try at home if it is possible. What activity it is? See, take clay balls of three colors, red, yellow and blue, how it is shown in the figure C, and make a red ball bigger. Yes, shown in a third number figure. If you handle that clay, then it will become easy to conduct this activity. Second, roll out the yellow color ball. You will get a flat roti-like structure. Yes, see, figure number second is shown that roti-like structure, and place the red color ball inside the yellow one, like you feel puran in a puran poli, and give it the shape of a sphere, like as figure number 4 it is shown. Now roll out the blue ball and fill the yellow one in it as done earlier. Like earlier, you have to observe these figures carefully, then you will come to know that. Otherwise, you go through the textbook, then you will get better ideas. And make a sphere of these two. Show the continents in yellow on this sphere like a globe. And now your globe made from clay is ready. See, figure number 1, 2 and 3, how continents are shown. So, to see the interior of the earth, cut the sphere exactly in half and you can see various layers of the colors inside, like the layers of the earth's interior. Name these layers. See, of course, you have to label that one: crust, mantle and a core. Crust, mantle and core. These three layers in this figure you'll get idea. Red is core, yellow is a mantle and the blue is a crust. Even their subdivisions also are there, or the sub layers also are there. we are going to study in a detailed manner how that looks like. See, if it is possible at home to complete this activity, try it and show your parents also. Or the many times you have done but you are unaware about such type of the activity, which will be better to understand interior of the earth. Students, the layers of the earth, interior of the earth. While going from the earth's surface to its core, major changes occur in a temperature and the density. In the simple format, I'll tell temperature and the density of the core portion or the material in the core is higher compared to mantle and crust. With respect to these two elements, the earth's interior can be divided into layers. Interior means that is a crust, mantle and core. Here one diagram is given in your textbook. Observe that diagram carefully. The layers of the interior of the earth: crust, two parts of the crust, continental crust, oceanic crust, that is Sial and Saiman. Mantle also categorized into means two layers, upper mantle and lower mantle. Core, innermost part of the earth, that is outer core and inner core. And see students, earth layers are shown. From the downside you have to observe that crust, continental crust and the oceanic crust, which is shown in the bluish in color. Mantle is shown in a yellowish color. Outer core just brown or the orange in color. Outer core and inner core totally reddish in color. Observe this diagram in the proper manner, because this chart and this diagram you have to draw in your notebook. Geography 100 pages long notebook. Next is students, the first layer of the earth, the crust. The uppermost layer of the earth's surface is in solid state and is called the crust. Once again, the uppermost layer of the earth's surface is in solid state and is called the crust, and the thickness of the crust is not the same, that is not uniform everywhere, and on an average it is 30 to 35 kilometer thick. Thickness of the crust is 30 to 35 kilometer in average, and the thickness of the crust below the continents is from 16 to 45 kilometer, and 40 kilometer under the mountainous ranges and less than 10 kilometer under the oceans. These facts you keep in mind. One figure is given here students, image shown earth's interior. You have to see the division or the layers detailed manner. Even the distance also is given in kilometers, like the focus on that means distance or the depth, center. Even the lithosphere 100 kilometer, crust portion, mantle portion and core portion, inner core, outer core. Mantle means a mantle which is in a solid, means a solid in a state, and the lithosphere of the surface of the earth where generally we have a settle. Each and everything read carefully through textbook, and this diagram also you have to draw in your notebook. Don't forget, because next points which are given in this topic are based on this diagram. Okay, the crust, outermost layer of the earth is known as a crust. We have studied. As we move deeper under the surface, temperature increases. This is a fact. After that, the rate of increase in temperature reduces and again increases in the core. Means once again see, from the surface of the earth, temperature increases towards the inside of the earth, again reduces and again increases in the core. At the center of the earth, the temperature is around 5000 degree to 6000 degree Celsius. 5000 degree Celsius to 6000 degree Celsius. And the crust is the thinnest of all the layers when compared to the mantle and the core, and it can be divided into two sub layers. Already we have seen in that chart or the tree diagram. One continental crust. The continents are mainly composed of silica, Si, and aluminium, Al. Because of their high proportion in this layer, the layer was earlier known as Sial, silica and aluminium. And the density of the continental crust is 2.65 to 2.90 gram per centimeter cube, and the thickness of this layer is approximately 30 kilometers. And what is the example of that continental crust? Granite rocks are mainly found in this layer. We can say that where the granite rocks are found, that will be considered as a continental crust. Second part or the second layer of the earth crust, that is oceanic crust. It is made up of silica, that is Si, and magnesium, Ma. So it was earlier called Sima, Sima, and this layer is approximately 7 to 10 kilometer thick, and the density of this layer is 2.9 gram per centimeter cube to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube. In this layer, basalt and gabbro rocks are mainly found. Don't forget, basalt and gabbro rocks are part of oceanic crust. Students, always remember, one fact is given here. Always remember, elements found in various layers of the earth's interior, which are found low in quantity and high in quantity. Silicon, that is Si, aluminium, Al, silicon once again given Si, which are lower in density or low in quantity, and magnesium, nickel or the ferrous, which density is higher toward the interior of the earth. Means here you have to consider surface to the center of the earth. Okay, ferrous is more and silicon is less. Students, do you know one fact is here, or through the questions will come to know that there is a discontinuity between the continental crust and oceanic crust, which are the two layers of the crust, continental crust and the oceanic crust, and it was first deduced by a scientist called the Conrad, and is named after him as a Conrad discontinuity. Means line which is shown in that figure, which shows the oceanic crust and the continental crust, that line is known as Conrad discontinuity. Second, number one, there is a discontinuity between crust and mantle too. This discontinuity was deduced by a scientist called Morovicic. It has been named after him as Moho discontinuity. You see here the line or the discontinuity shown between crust and the mantle by Moho. So on his name, this section or this discontinuity is known as Moho discontinuity. And third number, there is discontinuity between mantle and core too. It has been named after Gutenberg, a scientist who discovered it. So students, today you understood layers of the earth, crust, mantle and the core. Out of that, crust and the two layers of the crust we have studied here. Hope that through this video you understood very well. Read this topic at least one time carefully, which diagrams are set to draw, just draw properly with the proper labels and all. So students, take care yourself, take care of your family members. Today we'll stop here. Thank you.